It is with immense pleasure that I welcome on stage for the banking panel, whether it is fintech and banking collaboration or competition. I would like to welcome on stage our esteemed moderator, Mr. Hany Sonbaty, partner at Sawari Ventures. I'm also going to invite on stage, with immense pleasure, admiration, Mr. Hossein Azz, Chief Commercial Officer, Fawry, and CEO of Fawry Plus. Mr. Mohamed Sabban, Chief Innovation Officer and Strategic Development Officer at Misr Capital, and Madame Djiba Diallo, Senior Fintech Advisor, Ecobank. Thank you for kickstarting the stage.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I know this is one of the more difficult panels, the one right after lunch, and was such a beautiful lunch as well. But I think myself and my fellow panelists are raring to go. I mean, the title of this panel is Fintechs, Banks, Cooperation or Competition. Like everything in life, a lot of people want to frame things in black and white terms. I hope that my panelists can add a little nuance and color to the whole question. It seems to be the incumbent versus challenger, David versus Goliath question of our times between banks and fintech companies. The last time I saw anything approaching this was between 20 years ago, between mobile carriers and and internet providers versus incumbent telecoms, and there were ups and downs. But that's what our panelists are going to try to unravel, and I'll let them introduce themselves one by one, starting with you. Do you have a mic?
Hello. Hi, good afternoon. Indeed, very difficult panel right after lunch.
Absolutely.
But I think we'll make it happen. So I'm Djiba Diallo. I'm the Senior Fintech Advisor for Ecobank. My role, in a nutshell, is to facilitate partnerships between Ecobank and Fintechs. So rightly in the theme. I think I need to introduce quickly Ecobank because I'm not sure.
That was the first question.
Okay, yes. So we are a Pan-African bank with a presence in 36 countries in Africa, physical presence in 33 countries. So we like to say that we have the widest footprint across sub-Saharan African countries. We also have representative offices in France, Dubai, in the UK and in China. More than 25 million customers, 14,000 employees, so quite a wide bank. And our let's say, core value is really to be a Pan-African bank. And my role within the bank, as I was saying, is to think and work on the strategy to more easily partner with fintechs.
Excellent. Mohamed?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohamed Sabban. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at Misr Capital, the investment arm of Bank Misr. I don't think that I need to introduce Bank Misr, but I've been working in the digital transformation and the technology era for the last 28 years with various roles and responsibilities. But in the last 3 years with Bank Misr groups, we are more focus on driving an intense wide enterprise transformation. It's a 101 years old bank, so you can imagine the journey. We are trying to reimagine the journey of the founder of the bank. In 1920, he's a great entrepreneur. Yes. We are trying to follow the same prince he did at that time. So I'm glad to be here with the esteemed panelists.
Hossein?
I'm Hossein Azz, Chief Commercial Officer, Enterprise Services for Fawry and CEO of Fawry Plus, Asian banking arm of Fawry. I've been with Fawry for the last couple of years. Before, I've been having several experiences across different industries, telecom, information technology, distribution, food and beverage. As I said, I've been in Fawry for the last 2 years. I don't know if we have time to talk what Fawry is doing, but I think it's clear for everybody. At least you would be exposed to one of our services for the last period.
Excellent. Well, I'll start with Djiba. You're sitting right next to me. So I had a look at your profile, and you spent, prior to joining Ecobank, you spent more than a decade with Microsoft. Am I correct?
That's right.
So at some point of time, you got a phone call from Ecobank saying, we want you to come be part of this fintech journey, right? And so you packed it in, left Microsoft, and went to Ecobank. And for all of, I think you undersold Ecobank. Ecobank is a unique institution in Africa. I don't think there are many other institutions in Africa that pan 30-odd countries and have that many customers. You serve more than, you cover more than 700, 800 million people in God knows how many jurisdictions. Not all of them are the fancy ones. So there you are, the bank calls you and says, we want you to come and be part of our fintech dream, right? So my question to you is this. What was the bank's motivation to be part of fintech? How did they define it to you? What did they sell you? What were your shared objectives? Because a lot of people here would like to understand, especially, and me as well, when a massive bank like that, $30 billion worth of assets, says, okay, we want to join the fintech revolution. What do they mean? And how did they go around doing it?
So it's a very good question that you're asking, and it actually allows me to tell the story on how I joined the bank.
Please, go ahead.
Actually. So you're right. So I've been with Microsoft during 11 years, and my background was technical. So I'm deeply passionate about startup and the innovation ecosystem in Africa, really. So my last role before leaving Microsoft was within the For Africa team. Actually, the career was... Actually, we were already working on together on that, and I was covering the Microsoft strategy around startups in Africa, all Africa, from Cairo to South Africa, etc. And Ecobank actually invited me first in 2017 when they launched the Ecobank Fintech Challenge.
Okay.
So at that time already, they had a strategy around fintech, but it was just a competition. Okay. So I was invited as part of the jury, both in 2017 and 2018. So it's in 2018 that they actually approach me and say, you know what, we like this challenge, we like the competition, the way it's working, but we think and we feel that we should do better. And we need to have an internal department to only work on fintechs.
Okay.
The reason why I was very interested at that time is because, first of all, it was a Pan-African bank.
Yes.
So quite interesting. And the second one is because at that time already within my portfolio of startups that I've been working with, fintechs were definitely the most performing. So it was obvious to me that something big was going to happen in that space, and it was a good chance for me, to be part of that journey. So that's the story behind. And as I say, at that time, the focus was only on the FinTech Challenge, but let's say that the group CEO, when I joined the bank, told me something very interesting. He said, my dream as the group CEO of this bank is for us to become a bank as a platform. It's really for us to be able to, at some point, to get integration with any third party, be it fintech or any other, very easily and seamlessly. So that's what we are now focusing on.
Bank as a platform, as a final destination. We'll park that for the time being. Mohamed, I'm going to skip you because we're going to go like incumbent, challenger, right? And then back to the incumbent again. So Hussam, you've been with Fawry for 2 years. Fawry's been in existence since 2007, right? I was lucky enough to have been there at the beginning. It started off with a capital of 20 million Egyptian pounds or something like that. At the time, that was just under $4 million, right? There is a myth about Fawry, right? You are now $1 billion company. What is the internal myth about your formation as a fintech startup, starting from very small beginnings up until becoming $1 billion? what do the people who have been there tell each other about that story? Why did you start? What were you trying to do? What were the challenges? You've come in later, but I presume you've sat with people who have been there. I mean, Ashraf. It's a good thing Ashraf's not here at some level, because we can ask you questions we might not have been able to ask him. Right?
Well, I was lucky enough at that point in time, because I used to work with Ashraf at that point in time when he started Fawry in Raya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I used to ask him this question: What is it about what you're going to do? What's Fawry will do? Where you land? And at that point in time, the concept was not there. Yani he used to explain and explain, explain, and I always had this joke: is like, I
don't understand.
What are you going to do at the end of the day?
Okay.
And the thing that I see today is, back 2008, when he used to tell me what is going to happen. I wouldn't say some, but a lot of things that he was talking about his vision and dream, it's happening in the last 2-3 years.
Great. If you can tell us what were they, and what the things that he predicted that were happen, that helped him be so driven to get the company to be so big.
I would recall the name. The name is today is Fawry Banking 4444.
Okay.
So that was the initial name, which tells what was the vision. Fawry at that point in time was not lucky enough that the market pace was not that fast. So they had to change some of the dynamics, go to more into retail expansion, different channels. But that was the vision as an integral part of the banking system, enabling unbanked customers, enabling new services to be introduced. A lot of what we have been talking about these days, but again, the market didn't develop, or the circumstance didn't help that the vision to be achieved, I would say the first 5-6 years, but the following 5-6 years, the momentum happened.
Okay.
And the services, the non-banking financial services, the extension of financial services with the banks, the new financial services, all the initiatives that has been happening for the last period, Fawry was ready for a lot, or at least they knew what they are doing. Integration with the bank, integration with internet banking system, being inherited with the ATM systems. All those were the foundations that helped Fawry. When the momentum happened, we were ready.
Excellent. So would it be fair to say that what motivated Fawry and the founders of Fawry and the employees of Fawry was providing new services to new clients that are not being serviced by existing financial institutions? Would that be a fair statement to say?
Yes.
That would be a fair statement to say. So, which will lead me to Mohamed. So, Mohamed, you have a very interesting resume, in the sense that you've held almost the same title, or the same, not job description, but the same passion in CIB, National Ahli Sporting Club, which is my favorite sporting club, and Bank Misr, which is being head of digital transformation. Am I correct in saying that? So my question to you is this: is this how the banks, Bank Misr and CIB, saw Fintech, as just digital transformation? Walla, there was something else beyond the digital transformation that was part of the bigger Fintech space? And how did you guys think about it?
It's a complicated question.
But only you could answer that. And by the way, I want you to contrast the digital transformation aspect between a sports club, okay, and the financial institution.
Actually, we are working in multiple sectors, not only the sport, not only the financial service. The transformation is challenging the status quo. And if Hussam allow me also to add, I believe that the Ashraf vision at that time, it's similar to the chairman of Ecobank. Ashraf was thinking all the time about the platform, about being an eco model orchestrator. That's why he started this platform as an intermediator. It's a very tricky to start as an intermediator, not at the front end, not at the back end. So that's why I believe Fawry managed to achieve such success, which we are all proud with as an Egyptian.
We're all very proud of what Fawry has achieved. Absolutely.
The thing is that at the same, it is matching with the transformation journey. The transformation journey is a multiple dimension journey, Hany. It is not only about tech or about collaboration with fintech. It's around culture change inside the bank. It's around reimagining the customer journey, providing them with a sort of outstanding experience. It's about changing the process, changing the rules, challenging the mindset. So that's why, because of my background, I'm always providing a sort of neutral logic to any industry. Okay. So the main 4 or 5 pillars around transformation you can deploy
in anything.
In any
Can you articulate them again for all of us to hear?
Yes, it's mainly first thing. It's about the culture transformation. Okay. So we start by challenging the mindset. We start by telling them, telling the service provider what you are doing, what is the main job you are doing that for, and what is in it for you as well. Most of the time, when you start transform a culture, you keep telling them about the customer need, but we never ask about the staff needed. So staff need also is very essential in the equation. So the culture transformation is a long journey, and many of the organizations start this journey and fail and start again and fail, and it will not happen in one day or 1 year. We are talking about multiple of years till we come with the 2.0 or 3.0 generation of the organization. Okay. So this is pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is around the inside customer experience. Okay. The design thinking, how we know the customer, the personas of the customer. We start meeting the customer in reality, because unfortunately for a long time we are doing product development inside closed room. So we are not meeting customer. We think that we know the customer needs, and then we start developing the products and try to push the product to them. So now we are changing the model. We are asking them, what is really your needs? Okay. How we can solve your problems and all such things. The third thing is, of course, around the technology transformation and moving to all the latest trend. We are all hear about it when it comes to going to cloud, using the AI, the data analytics, restructuring your channels, the omni-channel experience, all such stuff. So this is the third pillar. The fourth pillar is the operational excellence, okay, which is the process automations, the delegations of power, and moving to an agile structure is a very, very tricky and hard way of doing things, because we are asking the people with the power to delegate and to restructure their big troops into a small one. So it is a massive way of doing things. So those are the 4 or 5 main basic pillars of.
Djiba, I see you're shaking your head, so I presume you agree with Mohamed?
Yes, I do agree on many aspects, but I think the way that we took as Ecobank is a little bit different.
Okay, we'd love to hear that.
Yes, because I think obviously, yes, internal innovation is very important to delight our customers. But as I said, the final goal is really to become a bank as a platform. So you have various ways of partnering with a fintech. They can bring an innovation that you embed on your own platform to provide to your customers, or you can just provide your platform, your own infrastructure for them to innovate and go after customers that you don't have as a bank. Okay. And that's the route that we are privileging, because from our experience.
The second one.
The second one.
So you're actually embracing fintech out of hope, not out of fear.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Oh, yes. I mean,
so you're using it to grow your business, not to as a defensive wall to protect it. Because that was my next question to you.
Yeah, because you know let's say the sentence that we used when we were starting last year, the journey was that we want to use fintech to extend our reach. Okay. Really.
Beyond the 33 countries, or within the 33 countries?
For now,
where are you going to go after that?
Actually beyond.
Beyond.
I can give 2 concrete examples. So we decided to publish our APIs. So we actually did. There are many things that we needed to do, and we say let's start with what is easier. We have APIs. We build a sandbox, and we publish our APIs.
Okay.
So they are there since 1 year now, okay? We have around 500 fintechs that are connected to our APIs through our sandbox. And one example that I want to give is a very small fintech in Togo, where we have our headquarters. They provide a solution. You know, mobile wallet is very strong in sub-Saharan Africa.
Yes.
So they provide a solution for their customer to manage their wallet within WhatsApp using a bot. And they say, cool. You know, one issue that their customers are facing many times is that they can withdraw money at many points that they have in the city, but sometimes they can need money at midnight and no point is open. There's no way. So they want their customer to be able to withdraw money through our ATMs. And we have a product that we provide to our customers since 7 years now, where they can create tokens, send to anyone for those people to withdraw. So we just did the connection through that API, and now their customers that don't have bank account, have wallet, can withdraw on our ATM.
That's wonderful. That's amazing.
Yes, so that's one example. The other that we are currently pursuing is that we are partnering with many fintechs, actually into Africa and out of Africa, because we have a product called Rapid Transfer, which is a remittance product that many people in the diaspora are using to send money to Africa or to send money from Africa to the rest of the world.
That's yes.
Yes, and we are now connecting with many companies out of Africa for them to also use our rapid transfer rail to send money, to do remittance, actually, within and extra out of Africa. So the goal for us is to bring as many APIs, to be as open as we can. And the final goal, as I was saying, is really to become a bank as a platform. And we just started a pilot with a company in Kenya. It's a neobank.
Nothing in Egypt? Nothing in Egypt? So this is a challenge to all fintech companies in Egypt. Go talk to Ecobank.
So yes, because the thing is that one of our strengths is the fact that we have 33 countries present. So for companies that want to come in sub-Saharan Africa, I think we are a very good partner.
You are a fantastic partner. From everything I've seen and read, you are a fantastic partner. If you don't mind, I will quote one line in an email you sent today, this morning, where you answered this question about collaboration or competition. And you were very kind enough to give the most definitive line I've ever read from a banking professional. Collaboration is a must. So the question for Fawry, is your experience, have banks been that open dealing with you, collaborating with you? Did they fear you? And also for Bank Misr, when fintech approaches you, do you approach with caution, or do you approach with an open arm? And are you worried about them? And if you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But we'd like to know because what I'd like to do next is understand why is it that sometimes some institutions are more fearful of others and so on. And I'd like to hear Fawry's experience in dealing with, when you were a bit smaller, when dealing with financial institutions.
Well, I would like to start with what I've been Ecobank is doing is I'd love about what I'm hearing and what I've been reading about the clarity of the objectives and the strategy. And this is the key thing, because between collaboration and competition, it's confusion.
Okay, that's a wonderful point.
It has to be defined based on the objective and the strategy that we agree on, or any institution, whether it's a fintech or a bank, the output will be it's competition or collaboration, and the objectives achievement would be, do we want to accelerate growth? Do we want more profit? Do we want... But if you implement the wrong strategy, then nothing will be achieved. No, we want to compete, then we will halt the market for the coming 5 years. It is an output. It's not, because if each and everybody sits and defines what he wants to do, the answer will be very clear.
Okay.
Because he knows. Definitely there has to be a sort of, I wouldn't say honesty, but facing reality.
Okay.
Anything is doable theoretically, but how long do you want to do it? If you can manage the cost of the transformation that you do, or it's the simple question of build or outsource. This has an advantage and cost, and this has an advantage and cost. But be clear, you cannot outsource and build. You cannot.
Okay.
So clarity on this. So back to the question, I would say we have seen a lot of mixes. We have seen a lot of banks eager and want to expand. However, internal system doesn't allow them. We have been a lot of banks, they fear, they don't want to open up the top.
And you think that's something internal, driven by internal dynamics and people that work there, or it's something that is more related to the business that they're in?
I think it's related to the DNA. Sometimes
Okay.
when you go, and I love the example you have mentioned about the telco. We have seen the journey, different industries, different dynamics, how it started in Egypt and how it landed, and we were very
Telecom
lucky.
Egypt is there, beginning and end.
It was so fast. It was like 1996 or 1995 started with the legacy IDSC and RITSEC, and then till 2000.
It's a 25-year journey from beginning to end.
Yeah,
and it's very stable now.
But the first 10 years, we've seen a lot of different models changing rapidly.
Yes.
I can still remember the first day the American University in Cairo had its first internet link. That was back 1997. Outside Egypt, it was half a meg. Half a meg. It was a celebration. I used to talk to all my friends for like 10 days about the speed of loading the page. The similarities happened, and then we have seen the takeoff. So again, back to the question: it's a mix between what we have and where you want to be, but you don't want to destroy or the beliefs that you have. This is the way we have been doing the business for the last 30, 40 years. So changing it, while
it's traumatic sometimes.
It's not up to the decision of the system, the speed of the change of the organization, the regulation. A lot of things that has to be adapted, but again, it all starts what we want to achieve in the coming 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, and then the strategy will follow, and this will dictate
how you deal with each
how
other.
the relation should be, because we have seen a lot of initiatives, and we have seen I would say a lot of impressive results or very good acceleration models in cooperation between banks and fintechs, and the results was although we are still very small projects, I wouldn't say very small project, but again from the outlook, but again a lot of projects, a lot of initiatives, impressive results, and we still didn't start yet.
Okay, so Mohamed, I have to give you a confession, but don't tell the National Bank of Egypt I said that. I'm very impressed with Bank Misr's approach, because it seems very cohesive, and as Hossam said, it seems that there is a purpose behind your actions. Would you care to share with us just a modification of the question I asked earlier? Because you're part of the digital transformation team, and I know it's a big thing. Would you care to share for us, share with us what your targets, objectives are, and how you are thinking about dealing with the rest of the ecosystem? If you can do so, well, it's still secret.
We can do. No. You know that at the governmental bank we are commercial. We have a commercial purpose, but we are working on the national.
You're a trillion Egyptian pound. You broke the trillion Egyptian pound total footing, right? So you're big, right?
Yeah. No. I'm saying that we are working also as a catalyst for the national plan. So we would like to share, as long as that there is no hurt from sharing as well. Let me answer the question regarding the fear. So are we frenemies? Are we friend or enemies? The thing is that I believe that the startups or the fintechs, they know how to deal with banks, and banks still moving with the slow steps to deal with them. Why? Because the fintechs let's say that they have a certain focus and a single purpose company. So they know exactly what they are looking for, they know exactly how to integrate, they know how to overcome the challenge. They don't have a legacy, they don't have a very restricted regulations in many of the circumstances. I'm talking about the overall world, it's not about Egypt. Egypt, of course, is witnessing a big move in the last 5 to 7 years when it comes to regulations and allowing different things, and we can mention that. Very radical move in some circumstances. However, and I'm telling you that the bank, as a universal bank, when they look to the fintech, they cannot see the impact the fintech can do for them when it comes to the size of the portfolio. So just imagine if I'm in the treasury room or dealing with the remittance, and I'm dealing with Western Union, MoneyGram, blah, 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 and then someone come to tell me that I'll provide you with a $50,000 corridor. Okay.
Yeah, but this, the thing is, and you know, the mobile carriers that thought that missed out on the biggest opportunities of their life. Because this 50,000 can easily be 50 million in a year or 2 years.
Exactly.
The growth is phenomenal.
Exactly. This is the dilemma we are in. That's why I didn't mention the pillar, the fifth pillar. I told you 5 things, and I mentioned 4. The open innovation programs we are currently working on it very intensively is to define this formula of collaboration. Because unless we will manage to bring the same priorities for dealing with the fintech like any normal project inside the bank, so the collaboration model will not work. This is the structure we are currently developing, is how we will help those small startups or medium startups to scale and to create impact so we can sell it to the business people inside the bank.
I got it 100%. So between what you're doing and what Ecobank are doing, open platforms is the key to facilitate more seamless and frictionless cooperation between existing financial institutions and the upcoming fintech world. So that is the key, right? So go ahead.
Yes, I just want to, something that I did not mention that Mohamed is very right about is the fact that on the paper, the sandbox is a very good thing. We are very happy on that. But there's still some work to do on the mindset internally.
And because of the size and all of that.
Because as he said, you know, I often say to my friends in the fintech world that bank sees you as aliens. And kind of small aliens. So we need to make sure that we show the value internally. We need to make sure that we change the mindset. We need to have the operation set up because, for example, the integration that we are doing on the sandbox, on a technical standpoint, we've been able to move from 6-month integration or even 9 months to 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it's very good. But then
we're going to send you a lot of Egyptian fintechs to integrate with you.
Yes, but you still need to go through all the regulation, the compliance, the business discussion, and that's where things needs to happen and to be improved. So
and not only changing the mindset of the executive to change the scoring card for the head of the business units. Because you don't keep telling them, you need to deal with fintechs,
and
you need to support fintechs, and then you give them a massive objectives and targets need to happen. So it is a mindset change across all the layers. It's not only on the execution layer.
Okay, got it. So we had more time, but I think our time got cut short, which is fine. And one last question, right? And for all of you, if you can answer it as succinctly as possible. Fast forward, right? 5, 10 years. How do you see this playing out?
So I think you mentioned the sentence that I said when I respond to your email. For us, it's a must. So we want to do more on that space. But as I said, work needs to be done internally. On a technical standpoint, we know how to do that. On the operational standpoint, work needs to happen within the bank. And yes, within 5 years is to be effectively a bank as a platform. That's really the goal.
So that's where you think you're heading and you think where the market's heading?
I think it's, I mean, especially in the Africa landscape.
Okay.
I don't see how banks, with all the competitors that are coming in the space, including telcos,
yes.
Something needs to happen. So yeah.
Hossam, you come from the telco, fintech world. How is this going to play out?
I think or how I see it is whoever is not going to change and cope with the change and believe that change will happen will be an old internet service provider, small flat or small office building versus what's happening today.
So you see some banks dying?
Whoever.
Anybody. Everybody is vulnerable.
Anybody. No one will stay as is because if you don't cope with the change and adapt and believe that, because the mandate today comes from the consumer or from the customer. It's not about it's available or not, because there are lots of things that we're seeing happening globally that would interrupt and it would interfere and it would allow people to do services not in Egypt. It will go beyond the boundaries of a country. So whether you provide it locally and cope and change your business model, or things will happen and you'll not be part of it. Yani,
Okay.
it will happen.
Very brutal, but I believe you. Life is brutal. Mohamed?
Very simple answers. I can share part of the Bank Misr strategy.
Please do. We'd love to hear it. It's not going to be in the newspapers tomorrow.
We decide to move beyond banking. So it's a more of embedded finance. It's a more of headless banking. It's a more of being part of the customer lifestyle. So this is our goal. This is what we are going to do in the coming era. Act as more of an
beyond banking. I like that.
Eco-model, ecosystems orchestrator to a great extent.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I wish, there were so many different things we could have probed if we had more time. We could have stayed hours discussing this. I'm sure we'll discuss it twice and 3 times. Anybody who obviously wants to corner us and dig deeper, please do so offline. Please thank my fellow panelists for their time and effort. I really enjoyed this. Really, I learned a lot from it. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Hany. Thank you, everyone. So now we have our second flash pitch, and it is with a very, very immense pleasure that I introduce you to Mohamed Bouaita from MN League. 2 years ago, I actually met Mohamed, and he's pretty much the first person to explain to me about the regulatory framework of the InsurTech. So as an ecosystem enabler, thank you, Mohamed, for all this effort you've done with me. And you have 3 minutes to give your flash pitch to our audience. Cheers.
All right, let's talk about insurance. Anyone? All right, hello, my name is Mohamed. I am the co-founder and CEO of MN League. At MN League, we help insurance companies penetrate Egypt's lower middle income class, that's a population of 50 million people, through reinventing how insurance is sold and managed. My journey with insurance started back in 2016, when I was a traditional broker. I was selling insurance through cold calls. During this time, I noticed 3 things. I was only selling to Egypt's top 1% of society, people that could afford the insurance. Second, the issue is it took 3 weeks to get their membership cards. The claims were also done manually. All in all, it was a horrible experience. It needed some digitization. That's why we created MN League. On our platform, you can get insurance in less than 5 minutes. All the client has to do is answer a few questions, select the plan that suits their needs, and pay. Then the client will get a membership card sent to their email. This is the end of paperwork in insurance, because the client then is onboarded onto our customer service app, where they can do automated claims. The insurance market in Egypt is actually very promising. It's a $2.5 billion market, growing 20% year over year. That's with less than 1% insurance penetration. Our revenue stream is very straightforward. We take commissions from our insurance companies. On these commissions vary between 10 to 30%. We take these commissions when signing up a new client and on the annual renewal of the same client. Since our launch in Jan 2020, we have been growing super fast. Our revenues from last quarter are triple all the revenues of 2020. Thank you so much for having me on the stage. And if you'd like to know more about MN League, please visit our booth outside.
Thank you, Mohamed.
Thank you, Karima, so much.